Dark Souls is a role-playing RPG game, and it's a good one too. And with Dark Souls 2 around the corner, I decided, why not make a Dark Souls video? Why not express my emotions towards the game? Why not get my viewers hooked in a game that will probably consume lots of hours of their life and wonder why they began to play this game after hundreds of hours? Why not? Anyways, Dark Souls is just a unique game that emphasizes strategy, that makes you get your lazy ass up and celebrate after you kill a hard ass boss fight that has been killing you for a long time. Olvídalo. No man! Not many games can achieve that nowadays, and it really makes Dark Souls stand alone in its own category. And it feels great. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go over the different mechanics this game has to offer that I appreciate because it affects the gameplay in such a way that makes it that much more enjoyable. And I'll also try to talk about not so great mechanics this game has, if there's any. So first of all, the difficulty. There are countless of people asking how hard Dark Souls is, and if you're one of them, then listen closely. If you rush, you die. If you use your brain, you won't. It's that simple. These type of games have been out since the dawn of video games, and honestly, I think they were harder back then. Dark Souls, much like Castlevania 1, has great enemy placement, and the enemies don't just stand there, they also set you up for traps. Dark Souls isn't a hard game, you just have to be patient and smart. The traps the game developers set in the game are visible, like pressure plates or enemy setups. Yes, there are a couple traps that aren't visible, but you either have time to barely dodge it, or the punishment is little. Or death. ¡Oh, me mató! The world structure. The world of Dark Souls, the structure at least, is very unique, and I love traveling in it. Walking from a dark forest to a fiery / lava realm doesn't seem possible in real life, but the structure in Dark Souls makes you think otherwise. The world seems huge in the game. Okay, it is pretty big, but it's nowhere near Skyrim or Minecraft. But the game seems to be huge because of the amount of variety each section has. And yes, don't worry, there is fast travel. Fucking lazy piece of shit. And the sections transition nicely too from each other. Like, how does the forest transition to lava? Like this! Crazy, right? Magic. Overall, traveling in this beautiful piece of art is enjoyable and it doesn't tire me. Ever. It's very dark though. I'm looking at you, Tomb of Giants. The story. It's amazing, okay? Alright. What? Oh, pardon me. I was just trying to save you some time because of how extensive this story is. Here's a button in case you want to skip this whole part. It's right there. Just gotta click on it. Psych! The story is probably my favorite part in this game. It's story time! So grab your popcorn and I'll make it short, painless. According to Dark Souls, at the start, the world was grey with dragons ruling over the world, and for some reason a fire started deep below the dragons, and the fire brought life, death, heat, cold, light, dark. 4 giants adopted the 4 souls, soul of death, life, light, dark, except for the soul of dark, which is kept by the pygmy, which no one knows who it is. The 3 lords decided to rise against the dragons above and kill them with the help of Seath. Thousands of years later, the 3 lords noticed their flames are fading, and Gwyn, to extend the life of the fire, sacrifices himself by using his body as fuel. Now, since Gwyn is dead and all, the world needs a new leader to sacrifice himself to extend the fire's life once more. The story itself in the game isn't told to the player at all. It's more like, okay, here's the intro, now look for the story. You have to constantly be reading through item descriptions, clues in the environment, and sometimes even make assumptions, which isn't bad at all. But when you're lazy like I am and hate reading, you won't know anything about the story or the characters or overall objective. But if you do read and look for the story, you will find it very interesting and worth your time. Or you could just look the videos up like I do. Problem? The combat/PvP/online features. Okay, so I'm hoping by the time you see this, you realize that the combat in Dark Souls is indeed slow. So don't expect no fucking Devil May Cry, God of War, Diablo shit. Dark Souls is supposed to be a challenge. You don't just go in a room expecting to wreck everything in it. It makes combat much more realistic. In real life, you won't ever fight 8 people at a time. You will attempt to fight them one by one. You can also skip difficult enemies and won't be penalized for it. Except of course, bosses. I was going to give you tips and tricks about the combat, but nah. GLHF! Online gameplay in Dark Souls is incredible and unique, and I've never seen something like it before in any other game. It throws game invite and waiting in queue out the window. You're always online interacting with other players unless you're playing offline mode, but why? So basically, there are 3 main ways you can interact with people. 1. You can summon random players to your game so they can help you kill the boss in that area. 2. You can invade or be invaded by a random player in your area. 3. You can write messages to help other players out that might be struggling in the game, but obviously you have a word limit in the message. Duh. And finally, there are 3 main ways you can interact indirectly with other players. 1. You can see other players in your area as phantoms. You can't do anything to them, but they give you company. Smiley face. 2. When you die, another player can touch your bloodstain and see the way you died. And 3. A Covenant-specific interaction where you use a Eye of Death that will send a Gravelord sign to 3 players that are connected to you and will spawn many Gravelord phantoms to their world. The players will then have to invade you and kill you to prevent spawning any more Gravelord phantoms in their world. Problem? Lastly, the PvP in Dark Souls is fun, especially when you get invaded and kill the invader and you're like, fuck yeah, bitch! Everyone has different builds, so you won't be battling a bunch of armored giants. And each build has different playstyle that you will need to get used to. The only problem I have with the PvP in Dark Souls is the delay. For reals, like, I don't have the best internet in the world, but I've seen this complaint everywhere, so I'm blaming the servers. Yeah, I believe this issue is gonna be fixed in Dark Souls 2, but we'll see. If you really liked this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel, or I'll kill this potato sack.